to Teaching Strategies Tuesdays with Harris Innovation Consulting Group. Today we're going to talk about asking and answering questions. This is a very important skill that leads students to an understanding of how to refer explicitly to the text in order to answer text-dependent questions, as well as eventually make an inference. So let's get started. First, students need to understand certain key terms in order to master this skill of asking and answering questions. The first being key details. Students need to understand how to look at a piece of information within a text and determine if it's important or if it's not important. Seems simple, but you'll see this fall to pieces when they begin to summarize and include all of the key details within a text in their summary. So we need to make sure that students need to understand what's most important within a piece of text. The next key term that students should know would be the difference between a question as well as the difference between an answer. Usually in the upper grades, you don't need to really teach this because students come with that understanding of the difference between a question and an answer. However, in the younger grades, it's important to let them know that a question ends with a question mark as well as an answer ends with a period. Students will also need to know that when they are asking and answering questions about a piece of text, that as they're reading, the reader may already have answers to questions about it as they began their reading, or they may have questions that they ask themselves as they're reading as well. This helps them to engage within a piece of text. Now, we're not just talking about younger grades, but this is also an appropriate skill for upper grades as well. So when you have students that are struggling with comprehension, it's very important that they understand how to engage within a piece of text. So let's go on to an activity that students could possibly use. This could be a whole group activity, or this could be an activity that would be in a center. But before we talk about that activity, let's quickly go over a great anchor chart that you could have posted within your classroom. As you see here, within this anchor chart, there are the types of questions. These are the types of questions that students need to understand, and they need to know that they could possibly ask, or they may need to answer when engaging within a piece of text. You see on this chart, you see the who, what, where, how, when, and why. You could have this posted within your classroom so that students can refer back to this as they are reading a piece of text. Also, for this skill, it would be very appropriate to use a close reading strategy. Now, within this close reading strategy, this particular coding that I have posted here is just a coding that I pulled offline. You can do a Google search, or you can customize it to meet the needs of your students or the goals that you have for your students. So this is just an example of a coding that you could use for close reading. So the first thing that you see would be a star. The star is simply what is important within the text. The next thing you see would be a circle. The circle would be when students would circle new words that they come across within that text. The next, a question mark, simple. They're confused about something or they need clarification, they would simply place a question mark. The next, an exclamation mark. That would be something that they're surprised, maybe a strange twist or a fun fact or something that it just kind of blew their mind. That would be an exclamation mark. And the last one would be C, a connection. This connection is very important because eventually when students get into the upper grades, they will begin to make inferences about a piece of text. So being able to connect your information as the reader, your background knowledge as the reader to what you are reading is very important for students to know how to do. So these are the codings that we would use for this activity. So for this activity, you would just get some index cards, and these index cards like this. And as you can see here, I just went ahead and put the types of questions, the why, when, who, how, and then what and where on these cards. The piece of text that we're going to use is an article from News ELA. News ELA is a free resource for teachers. It offers articles on different topics, but the cool part about this resource is that you can adjust the Lexile levels. So you could use a particular lexile for whole group, but then take that same article and adjust the lexile up or down to meet the needs of each individual student. You can differentiate that article, but it will be the same information in there. So the article we're going to use is entitled Meet Moana, the New Disney Princess. We're not going to use the beginning portion. However, we will chunk the text and use the middle portion of this particular article. As you see here, I've already annotated, but I'll kind of talk you through my reasoning or my thinking behind each of the annotations, and this is what you would be modeling for your students. You see the heading is Moana is the star. The hard part was making the character Moana. I put a star there because that would be the who the text is about. She is the star of the movie. She is the newest Disney princess. It's hard to make a new princess. The people making the movie talked about everything over and over. They wanted Moana to say the right words. They wanted to choose the best colors for the movie. I had a question about that. Why? Why did they want to consider colors to put in the movie? That's a question that I had, so I put a question mark. The two men visited some Polynesian islands. That's a new word for me. I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to say that lets me know more about the where the story or the movie will take place. They wanted to learn about people there. This helped them to make the movies seem real. I put an exclamation mark because I thought that was pretty interesting, that's how they allow movies to seem real, by actually visiting the place. They learned that the people love their family. They also care about nature. That answers my what. So I put a C there as well. That C is my connection that I have to the text. I know that I also love my family. I care about nature. So that connection is what I have to the text. So you would model for students how to do this particular skill. So as I said, it's important for students to understand the different types of questions: the who, the what, the where, the how, the when, and the why, as they began to engage within a piece of text. Well, that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining us for Teaching Strategies Tuesdays with Harris Innovation Consulting Group. Join our mailing list to get more resources, graphic organizers, and newsletters. I encourage you to follow us on Facebook at Harris Innovation Consulting Group, as well as Twitter at Dr. T. Harris, and on Instagram at Harris Innovation CG. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Harris Innovation CG. Happy teaching!